Good morning. I'm standing in front of one of the most beautiful, modern, and prestigious buildings in the heart of Crown Heights, Brooklyn. And it's the Jewish Children's Museum. You know, we Jews have a lot of museums, especially museums to honor and remember the Holocaust. But this is the only one I know of that's dedicated to Jewish children. And it reminds me of what someone once said, that if you come to a Jewish community and you see a cemetery, you know that there once was a Jewish community living here. If you see a synagogue, you know there is a Jewish community. But if you see a Jewish school, then you know there will be a Jewish community. In this week's Torah portion, we learn about Korach's rebellion against Moshe Rabbeinu. And Moshe Rabbeinu proves to be victorious. And until this day, his legacy lives on. How is it that Moshe Rabbeinu lives on until this very day? And the answer is, we have the Sefer Torah, the Torah scroll. And the word Sefer means Sipur, a story. It's the story of our past that lives on in the present and into the future. Imagine if someone discovered a diary written by your great-great-grandparents 500, 1,000 years ago. You would treasure it and read it over and over again. Well, we have such a diary with exact details of their lives, and we could read it in the Torah. But more than that, the Torah teaches our children values by which to live in this world. It tells them that being a Jewish person is not just about carrying the burden of the past and the memory of the past and the pain of the past as Jews, but it's about living joyously in the present and in the future. It's a book of values of how to lead happy and meaningful lives. You know, when I was in Israel last few years ago with Dini and a group of members of the synagogue, we went to visit the Bet Hanasi, the president's residence, and we got to visit with President Reuven Rivi Rivlin. As you know, last week in Israel, they elected a new president, Isaac Herzog. But I remember when we went to visit the president, we had a wonderful meeting in the Bet Hanasi, and afterwards, his chief of staff, a religious woman by the name of Rivka Ravitz, took us for a tour of the facility and the gardens. And as she was wrapping up, she said to me, I need to go home because my husband is recovering from a surgery and I need to get home to help him. And I said, what kind of surgery? And she said, a kidney transplant. I said, I'm sorry that he needed the surgery. Is he okay? And she said, no, my husband donated his kidney. And she proceeded to tell me the most amazing story. She said her husband's father was on dialysis and needed a kidney transplant. And he has 7 sons. And each and every one of them wanted to be the one to give their father the kidney. And they were fighting amongst themselves. The oldest one said, I'm the oldest. I deserve to give the kidney because I'm his oldest son. The youngest one said, well, I'm the youngest, which means I'm the healthiest and the strongest, so I should be the one to be able to give my father my kidney. And so they couldn't resolve the dispute. So they went to the local Bet Din, the Jewish court, and they presented their case. And the court couldn't decide, and so they decided to make a goral, a lottery, to determine which son should get to give their father the kidney. And she said with a big smile, and my husband won the lottery. That's the type of children we want to raise. Children who consider themselves fortunate, blessed, lucky to be able to honor their father and mother, to honor their ancestors and the traditions of the past. A Judaism that's filled with joy, with love, with creativity. That has to be done by telling our children how Judaism is relevant to their lives each and every day. And this building behind me, the Jewish Museum of Brooklyn, is a great testament to what the Jewish people told God at Mount Sinai 3,300 years ago, when God said, who will be the guarantors that you will keep the Torah? And the Jewish people answered with 3 words, Banenu Arevim Badenu, our children will be the guarantors. We promise to teach our children Torah. This is a pledge that this building is a testimony to, that the Jewish people throughout the world continue to uphold that promise to teach the Torah of Hashem, which was given to us through Moshe. And despite the revolution and the rebellion of Korach, the truth always prevails. And since Moshe represents the truth of the Torah, Moshe Emet v'Torato Emet, the truth of Torah lives on, despite all the lies and all the falsehoods in the world around us. Truth ultimately, like light, banishes all darkness. Have a wonderful day.